Well, hello there, you guys. It is me, Regretful Turtle, back with another video on how to make this YouTube logo in purple instead of red. Now let's get started. We're gonna start with a simple rectangle. Okay, a rectangle. Just make it about the width of and the length of the YouTube, logo. And then we're just gonna go ahead and round off the corners, and then bump up the middle, and then the bottom piece. And what I end up actually doing is just making one side the way I want it to look, and then I duplicate my rectangle and then rotate it and cut it in half, and then flip the other half around and just paste them together, merge them together with the merge tool in Affinity Designer. And then we get rid of the extra nodes that we don't need, and then keep that top one and just make it into a curve. And then we're just going to curve the bottom middle piece downwards like we did. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and add the triangle, and we're just going to make a proportionate, like all round proportion triangle. And then we're going to go ahead and just make it look like it's in the middle of the YouTube play button. We're not going to do the center, align center and horizontally, because then it's not set right in the middle of, like, it's not the right optical illusions. So it's got to look like right in the center like the actual YouTube play button is. And so now what we're gonna do is go ahead and I'm gonna open up one of my old files, older illustrations, because I like that purple. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that purple and then the green from that work, and then we're just gonna go ahead and use it for this very illustration. So, but before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and just play with the stroke thickness of my illustration, and in order to do that, we're gonna go ahead and just use the pressure option in Affinity Designer, and then we're gonna go ahead and add some strokes, and same thing again, play with the stroke pressure, and then just adding these strokes in the corners just to add some details to the YouTube play button. It's always very important to get the foundation of your illustration right before you start adding all these colors and highlights and stuff, because in order for it to actually work, you need to have a good solid foundation, so you're not just pretty much polishing a turd, as they say. I mean, I'm no expert on doing all this stuff, but I'm still learning. But this is what I did learn throughout my time making illustrations, is just get the strokes. Try to do as many of the strokes as possible before you start, really putting in the colors and stuff. Because then once you start changing strokes and stuff, it's kind of hard to change everything. It takes a lot of time. So now what we did was, while I was go ahead and talking, I went ahead and played with the stroke thickness and pressure of the actual, the play icon in the play button, and then we went ahead and broke apart some piece of the triangle and left it with a little gap like that, just to give it some life, some different personality. And now what we're doing is grabbing the purple from my illustration of my finger fries, and the green as well, the light green. I like that really light green with it. So what we're gonna do now is just go ahead and duplicate our stroke layer, and then turn it start coloring in our shapes. And it's super easy. Just get rid of all the strokes and all the excess lines, and then just go ahead and fill each shape with the respective color. The purple, the square with the purple, and the triangle with the green. And then now we're gonna go ahead and do the highlights of it. So we made a whole new layer for that, and we're just gonna go ahead and make a pattern like this, down the middle, kind of curve, like jagged. And what we do after that is we're gonna go ahead and change the color of that and make it a light purple, and change the points into curves, like a curved points instead of corner points. That way it's got a nice wavy look to it. And what we do here is do the same thing, make another pattern with jagged edges, and then change the color to a light purple, and just instead of corner curves, we're gonna go ahead and do curved curves, or curved points, I mean. And so now what we're gonna do is just add some more details, more highlights, just adding this little oval for an extra oomph. And you can go ahead and duplicate it, and then just make a little more of a circle eclipse, and add it to that side, and then we're just gonna add another oval to the other side, the left side of the right side of the play button, and make it not as bright since it's not as close to the light source. It's farther away, so it's not gonna be very bright. And we're gonna go ahead and add a little detail on the play button, on the actual triangle, and just here playing with it. That's all it is, playing with it, figuring out what looks good, what doesn't, and in order to level up your skill of figuring out what looks good and what doesn't, I would suggest studying other people's work and seeing what they do and what they don't do, and then maybe studying some light some light source studies on your own, from real life. And then so now we're gonna go ahead and just make some shadows and make a rectangle, and then just go ahead and make a darker version of that color itself, and then lower the opacity, and then we're gonna go ahead and add another detail, another shadow, just more detail in there. Just add a stroke, do the same thing, the same color of the play button, just make it dark and lower the opacity, and put it underneath the first that first shadow layer. And so now we're just doing the same concept with the play button, just making a shadow for the triangle part to give it some depth. And it's pretty much it. That's all I end up doing. This is really all that this play button consists of. And I made this play button for my YouTube channel to change the banner. I'm going to incorporate this in my banner. And so let me know if you enjoyed this video, and if not, go ahead and let me know as well. Leave a dislike, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Cool. And I hope you have a great day and a great life, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you later. Goodbye.